Good, good afternoon from Council Chamber. We are live.
Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Sorry, Councillor, please just give us a moment while we confirm quorum.
We are still confirming quorum. All right, just let me know when you are good to go.
We do have quorum.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I will now call this meeting to order, this being the Wednesday, June 8th, 2022 edition of City Council Public Hearing. Will someone please move the adoption of the agenda?
Roll call first,
Oh,
please.
yes.
Oh, right, let's do roll call. Thank you very much. I knew I missed one thing. So let's do a quick roll call and see who's in the house. So we'll start with Councillor Stevenson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Councillor Salvador.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Councillor Rice.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Councillor Wright.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Councillor Jans. I see you there. I'll come back to you. Maybe we can go with Councillor Principe.
Hello.
Hello. And let's see. Councillor Knack.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Councillor Hamilton.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Councillor Cartmel.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Councillor Rutherford.
Good afternoon.
Councillor Jans. Well, again, I see his face, but we're not getting any audio from him. I am here, and the mayor is away on city business for the moment. And I believe, is that everyone, Madam Clerk?
Yes, I believe that is everyone.
Okay, and perhaps we can work on Councillor Jan with Councillor Jans on his audio. Okay. All right, so will someone please move the adoption of the agenda?
Thank you. I'll move the adoption of the June 8th public hearing agenda.
Okay, is there a seconder?
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Rice. So that has been moved by Councillor Hamilton, second by Councillor Rice. If there's no debate, please vote.
Yes for me. I'm a yes.
Yes for Jans as well.
We have all the
Glad to
votes.
hear your voice. All right, display the vote, please. And that is carried. Are there any protocol items today? Not aware of any. Let's see, now we've got some procedures for public hearing that we should probably get to before we get into the meat of the matter. And I will read that out to you now so that everyone's on the same page. If I can pull it up. Here we go. So the clerk will call out the bylaws to be dealt with. I will call out the names of the people registered to speak to each bylaw. Next, council members will select the bylaws that they wish to discuss and vote on any bylaws that have not been selected for discussion. Council will then deal with each of the bylaws that were selected for discussion and debate. Now, for each item, administration will first provide an overview of the bylaw, and members of the public who have registered to speak will then be invited to make their presentations. Those in favor will speak first in panels, followed by those opposed in panels. Each person will have 5 minutes to make comments. The clerk will run the official timer in council chamber, The timer lights on the podiums, if you're in person, will be green for the first 4 minutes, turn yellow when there is 1 minute remaining, and flash red when the 5 minutes are up. If you are participating virtually, you may wish to use a timer of your own, and I would recommend that. When everyone in your panel has had a chance to present, members of council may ask you questions, either of you or of other panel members. And for this reason, you may wish to remain in the meeting until all questions have been asked of your panel. After comments from the public, council may ask questions of city administration. After all questions of administration have concluded, I will ask council if they wish to ask any further questions of those who presented in response to new information that may have arisen during the public hearing. Thereafter, council may close the public hearing and debate the bylaw. Now, if you're participating virtually, please remember, and this is quite important, to mute your microphone when you are not speaking. You do not want to be caught in an embarrassing situation. If you are experiencing any technical difficulties, please reach out to the office of the city clerk using the contact information provided in your confirmation registration or at city.clerk@edmonton.ca. If you're here with us in person, the clerk will guide you to your seat when it's your turn to speak. As Edmonton transitions from provincial mask mandates and city temporary mask bylaw, we ask visitors to council chamber to be kind and respectful to each other. You can wear a mask to protect yourself and those around you. And please respect people's personal decisions around wearing masks. In the event of emergency, please follow the clerk's directions to evacuate. City staff will direct you to your muster point. I hope that's clear as day. Madam Clerk, may you please call the bylaws?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bylaws and related reports. Is there anyone to speak to item 3.1, bylaw 20129, to close a portion of road right-of-way Blatchford area?
I do not have anyone in support or opposed.
Thank you. Item 3.2. Is there anyone to speak to this item, Charter Bylaw 20093, to allow for low-density residential development, Rosenthal?
Yes, I have two people in favor to answer questions only, and that would be PJ Pescod and Sarah Sherman from Melcor Developments and IBI Group, respectively.
Thank you, and we see them both in chamber.
And none opposed.
Is there anyone to speak to item 3.3, Charter Bylaw 20122, to rezone land for low and medium density housing, a public park, and the preservation of wetlands, Astor?
Yes, I have two people in favor to answer questions only, Om Joshi and Shane Gurain, and from WSP Canada and Qualico, respectively, and none opposed.
Yes, present. Good afternoon.
Can we confirm? Oh, apologies, I interrupted. Thank you.
No,
Thank you, Shane.
Shane, this is Shane. I'm here, and thank you.
Thank you. Items 3.4 and 3.5 will be dealt with together. Is there anyone to speak to item 3.4, bylaw 20118, to amend the Crossroads Area Structure Plan, and item 3.5, Charter Bylaw 20119, to rezone land for logistics and distribution uses, including outdoor storage, Edmonton South Central?
Yes, I have Chuck McNutt to answer questions only from WSP Canada, and none opposed.
Yes, I'm here, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone to speak to item 3.6, Charter Bylaw 20100, to allow for small-scale infill development, High Park?
Yes, I have in favor George Pellicciati, and by the way, if I pronounce any names incorrectly, please correct us when you come to speak. And that is to answer questions only in person, and none opposed.
Could Mr. Pellicciati identify themselves if they're in the... Thank you very much. And to confirm, we have that speaker in chamber.
Thank you.
Item 3.7, Charter, is there anyone to speak to, sorry, apologies, if there anyone to speak to item 3.7, Charter Bylaw 20120 to allow extended medical treatment services and additional opportunities for commercial uses to an existing commercial development, Prince Rupert.
Yes, I have two people joining remotely, Sylvia Summers from Stantec and Terry Schmidt to answer questions only from Northwest Healthcare Properties.
I'm here. Just as a note, have a presentation, but only if this item is selected.
Noted, thank you.
Thanks.
And Terry Schmidt, I'm present as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and none opposed.
Thank you. Is there anyone to speak to item 3.8, Charter Bylaw 20121 to allow for low-intensity commercial development, Wellington?
Yes, I've got Ryan Edick to answer questions only from EINS, and he is joining us remotely, and we have none opposed.
And yes, I'm here, and because you asked, it's pronounced IDIC. Thanks.
Edick, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there
I will
anyone?
take that edict with great consideration.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone to speak to item 3.9, Charter Bylaw 20123 to allow for low-rise multi-unit housing, Eastwood?
Yes, I've got Khaled Mustafa to answer questions only from a numbered company, and he is here in person, and none opposed.
Can we have the speaker identify themselves if they're in the room? Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. To confirm, we have that speaker in chamber.
Thank you.
Is there anyone to speak to item 3.10, Charter Bylaw 20125 to allow for convenience, commercial, and personal services uses, Strathern?
Yes, I've got Ronan Sohn joining us remotely to answer questions only from Clarity Development, and none opposed.
I am present, and I do have a presentation in case council does select this.
Noted, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And items 3.11 and 3.12 will be dealt with together. Is there anyone to speak to item 3.11, Bylaw 20110 to amend the Oliver Area Redevelopment Plan, and 3.12, Charter Bylaw 20111?
Yes, I've got Cambaz Niaz from Pure Care Pharmacy, Sylvia Summers from Stantec, Kasra Tavakoli from Andrew Chung Architects, and to answer questions only, I've got Kenneth Kwan from Green Lawn Construction, all apparently joining remotely.
Again, this is Sylvia Summers. I'd like to make a note that I have a presentation if this item is selected.
Noted, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there, this is Cam Diaz and I'm present. Thank you.
Hi there, this is Casper Tavakoli, and I'm present if we're selected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
can we just confirm?
And this is Ken Kwan.
Thank you.
I will be speaking if I'm directed to.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I believe that is everything, but I will ask, is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Not hearing any. Now we will move to selection of items for debate. So if we can populate the list, we can get that rolling. Okay, while we're waiting, we can start with Councillor Wright. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I'd like to select 3.3.
Okay. You've got it. And is that everything?
Yes, that's it.
All right, thank you, Councillor Wright. Are there any other selections? Okay. Are there any items that must be selected that we may be missing?
No, there are not.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear.
Councillor
All
Paquette,
right. Oh, go ahead.
I would like to move closure of the public hearing on the items not selected for a debate.
You read my mind, Cartmel.
I'm so sorry. I was having trouble clicking on.
Oh, okay.
Um,
We almost got there.
we almost got there. It's so close, and I'm grappling with whether I even. But I think I will. Sorry, I will select 311 and 312 for a very, very brief question that I believe can be answered very, very quickly.
Okay, you've got
Otherwise, I
Councillor.
would second the motion to close public hearing on all other items.
Yeah, we will play with the immutability of time there and go ahead. That was moved by Councillor Cartmel and seconded by Councillor Stevenson. So, Councillor,
One moment while we
yeah,
pull up the
thank
votes.
you, Madam Clerk, thank you.
We are waiting on a number of votes for that. We have all the votes.
Okay, please display the vote. And that is passed unanimously.
Councillor Paquette, I will move first reading of item 3.1, 3.2, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, and 3.10.
Second.
All right, so that is moved by Councillor Cartmel, second by Councillor Stevenson. Please vote.
We're missing one vote. We have all the votes.
And display the vote. And that is carried.
Councillor Paquette, I'll move second reading of item 3.1, 3.2, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, and 3.10.
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Cartmel and Councillor Stevenson for the second. Please vote.
We have all the votes.
Display the vote, please. And that is carried unanimously.
Councillor Paquette, I'll move consideration of third reading of items 3.1, 3.2, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, and 3.10.
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Cartmel, and thank you, Councillor Stevenson for the second. Please vote. There's no debate.
We're waiting on one vote. Councillor Jans. We have all the votes.
And please display the vote. Hey, we did it.
Not quite yet.
Oh, the tough part.
Councillor Paquette, I will move third and final reading of Bylaw 20129, Charter Bylaw 20093, Bylaw 20118, Charter Bylaw 20119, Charter Bylaw 20100, Charter Bylaw 20120, Charter Bylaw 20121, Charter Bylaw 20123, and Charter Bylaw 20125.
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Cartmel. Thank you, Councillor Stevenson for the second. Please vote.
Councillor Principe.
I'm a yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. We have all the votes.
And please display the vote. And that is carried. Okay, and so I believe that our first item up is 3.3 and administration. I believe you have a short presentation.
Yeah, if it's so desired by council.
Let's find out. Councillor Wright, do you need a presentation?
No, I didn't need a presentation. I just had a couple of quick questions.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify, actually, you can bring that slide back up. That would be good. I just wanted to clarify that the areas that are currently designated as the Crown, what is it, Crown Wetlands? Though those are staying preserved, is that right?
That's correct, Councillor.
Okay, and there's no other parts in that area that are Crown lands that are being moved or changed?
Not with this application or with this landowner.
Okay, all right, that's just what I wanted to confirm. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I'll just check in to see if there are any other questions. No? Councillor Wright, would you care to move closure of item 3.3?
Yes, I would like to move closure of item 3.3.
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Thank you, Councillor Wright. If there are no questions, no debate, we're past questions. Please vote.
We have all the votes.
Please display the vote. And that is carried. Councillor Wright,
I would like to move first reading of Charter Bylaw 20122.
Second.
thank you, Councillor Wright. Second by Councillor Stevenson. Please vote.
And
Councillor, we have all the votes.
Please display the vote. And that is carried. Thank you. Councillor Wright, go ahead. I know you were eager.
second reading of Charter Bylaw 20122.
Second.
Thank you. And I believe that was Councillor Stevenson again, seconding. Thank you. Please vote.
We're waiting on one vote. Councillor Jans, we have all the votes.
Okay, display the vote, please. And that is carried. Would you like to move closure?
Consideration
Or not clear consideration. Thank you.
of third reading for Charter Bylaw 20122.
Second.
Second by Councillor Stevenson. Please vote.
We have all the votes.
Please display the vote. And that is carried unanimously.
And I would like to move third and final reading of Charter Bylaw 20122.
Thank you, Councillor Wright.
Second.
And thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Please vote.
We have all the votes.
Please display the vote. That is carried. Well done, everyone. Now we will go to our next item, which happens to be our final item. And that is the cross-referenced items of 3.11 and 3.12. And I'm going to just check in with Councillor Stevenson. Do you need a presentation?
I do not need a presentation, thanks. I can just start with questions to speakers, if that's appropriate.
Actually,
if there,
I would like a presentation.
yes, I think that's actually scans. Yeah, let's start with speakers. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll start with the presentation, sorry, I think, as requested by Councillor Tang.
Oh, I missed that. Thank you, Councillor Tang. Yes, please go ahead with the presentation.
Hi, good afternoon. This application proposes to rezone a site in Oliver neighborhood from RA9 high-rise apartment zone and DC1 direct control provision to DC2 site-specific development control provision to allow for 2 mixed-use high-rise buildings. An amendment to the Oliver ARP is also proposed to facilitate the proposed rezoning. Next slide, please. The subject property is composed of 2 sites separated by a lane. The portion of the site located south of the lane is currently occupied by 2- and 4-story buildings supporting a variety of commercial and retail uses, shown on image 1, as well as a surface parking area shown on image 2. The portion of the site located north of the lane is currently occupied by surface parking, which is shown in image 3. Next slide, please. This site is located at the corner of 115th Street and Jasper Avenue. Being mainly residential in character, 115th Street supports a variety of housing typologies, from small-scale character housing to high-rise apartment buildings. Jasper Avenue supports a wide mix of uses in a variety of built forms, ranging from one-story to high-rise buildings. The portion of Jasper Avenue within the general vicinity of the subject site is notably underdeveloped, with many of the existing buildings being on very low scale, 1 to 4 stories in height, in addition to some vacant parcels and surface parking lots. The site is well connected to alternative modes of transportation, with frequent bus service along Jasper Avenue and 116th Street, a bike lane along 102nd Avenue, and, though not shown on screen, the future yards and 116th Street LRT stop, which is less than 600 meters from the site. The site also has excellent access to a wide variety of commercial and retail services along Jasper Avenue. Next slide, please. Though this site is already zoned for high-rise mixed-use development, the proposed DC2 provision proposes to substantially increase the floor area, height, and density. Here you can see the key differences between the existing RA9 zoning that applies to the portion of the site located north of the lane, which equates to a difference of approximately 12 additional stories. Next slide, please. This shows the key differences between the existing DC1 zoning that applies to the portion of the site located south of the lane, which equates to approximately 42 additional stories. Next slide, please. While the height of the towers are significantly greater than the existing zoning permissions, this is not out of character for the Jasper area or Jasper Avenue corridor. Various towers have been built or approved on Jasper Avenue, including the lands immediately south of the site that were rezoned in 2019 to accommodate 2 towers, 45 and 35 stories respectively. Those are identified in yellow, as well as one land block to the east that was rezoned in 2016 to accommodate a 45-story tower. That's identified in orange. Next slide, please. Both proposed buildings utilize a podium tower configuration that ensures the taller residential tower portion of these buildings are kept away from the surrounding pedestrian realm. The podiums, which are more of a human scale proportion, are brought closer to the public realm. This overall building design lends itself to a more comfortable and pedestrian-friendly experience by allowing the podiums to define the relationship with the public realm rather than the tower massing above them. Next slide, please. At the pedestrian level, the proposed buildings are wrapped in active uses to further enhance the development's interface with the public realm and to appropriately integrate this development within its existing mixed-use context. Commercial uses are proposed along Jasper Avenue to complement its commercial character, while residential use are proposed along 115th Street to complement its residential character. The proposed DC2 provision will create a unique third frontage whereby the at-grade residential units will wrap from 115th Street into the east-west lane. This will allow the lane to feel like a residential street, including space for pedestrian walkways on both the north and south sides. This is a noteworthy component of this development, which seeks to make better and interesting use of existing laneway space. Next slide, please. The renderings shown on screen provide a more detailed reference to the commercial interface that will be provided along Jasper Avenue and 115th Street, as shown on the left-hand side of your screen, and the residential interface along the laneway. Next slide, please. On June 15th, 2021, this application was reviewed by Edmonton Design Committee, the EDC. The committee provided a recommendation of support with conditions mainly related to the design and interface of the podium with the public realm that can be found in Appendix 3 of the report. The DC2 was modified to address some of these conditions, in particular further refinement of the building elevation appendices. Next slide, please. Public engagement for this proposal included pre-application notices, an open house hosted by the applicant, advance notification, as well as online public engagement session hosted by the city. Feedback was provided through the various engagement activity and was largely mixed. Comments in support of the application included the desire for more density and a broader mix of commercial uses along Jasper Avenue. Those with concerns included unwanted impacts from taller buildings such as shadowing, as well as an increased density such as parking and traffic congestion in the form from the additional density. Next slide, please. As the proposal is a direct control provision, a contribution is required to comply with the city policy of the community amenity contributions. It will be made in the form of streetscape improvements along Jasper Avenue as well as 115th Street, resurfacing the adjacent lanes, improvements to Kitchener Park, as well as 22 family-oriented dwellings with at least 3 bedrooms, among other family-friendly requirements. Next slide, please. To facilitate the proposed rezoning, an amendment to the Oliver Area Redevelopment Plan is also proposed. The ARP designates this site for high-rise development with a provision for pedestrian-oriented development along Jasper Avenue. Though this proposal generally conforms with the direction, one map is proposed to be amendment to reflect the change of zones for this site. The city plan locates Oliver within the center city, which is intended to receive the highest density and mix of land uses in the city. This application once again aligns with this direction, as it allows for high-rise residential development in an area already supporting a mix of building forms, including high-rise towers. Next slide, please. In summary, administration recommends support for this application because it appropriately locates two high-rise mixed-use buildings with an area already supporting high-rise development, which has excellent access to amenities. It supports the continued redevelopment of Jasper Avenue as a compact and walkable commercial main street, and it aligns with the city plan by contributing to the development of the Center City node. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We'll now move to Councillor Stevenson for questions. Oh, wait. Actually, Councillor Steven, will you have any questions of the speakers who came today? You will. Okay, so I believe that Sylvia Summers had a presentation.
I do.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, yeah. So the order that we have is Cambesnia's to go first, but I am assuming that you would like to change that order.
He's registered before us. The group that I'm with represents the owner. So I'm with Stantec. Castor Tavakali is the architect, and then Ken Kwan is representing the ownership group.
All right. So if you are not in a group together, we'll stick with the order and we'll come to you, Sylvia Summers. I don't know whether you prefer Mrs. or whatever it would be.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. So Candace Niaz, the floor is yours for the next 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me speak. I just wanted to share my support for the proposed charter bylaw 20111 and 20110. I'm representing an adjacent business to that location that you guys were discussing. We are Pure Care Pharmacy, and we believe revitalization of that area and bringing in these high rises will bring more traffic to the space, which will in turn actually help surrounding businesses, including our own, and it will revamp the appearance and the way the space looks right now. So overall, we see it as a great benefit to not only our business, but the area within that Jasper Avenue location. So I just want to hop on here and just echo my support and share that message. I don't need the full 5 minutes, so I appreciate your time.
We love that here. Thank you. Okay, so we will move on to Ms. Summers.
I'm just waiting for my presentation.
Okay, while we're waiting, I'll just check in with Castra Tavakoli. Will you also be wanting 5 minutes, or is this presentation the presentation of your group?
I have a presentation prepared if I'm required, so I can present it.
No, we're happy to hear from you. Just double checking. And there we go. It's up.
Okay. Good afternoon, members of City Council. It's our pleasure to be here today in front of you requesting approval for this application. I'm here today with my colleagues who'll be speaking after me. Castor Tavakali with Andrew Chung Architects will speak to the project's architectural and site design, and Mr. Ken Kwan with Greenlawn Construction is available for questions. Next slide, please. We're pleased to present our proposed DC2 rezoning for the site located on the northeast corner of Jasper Avenue and 115th Street in the Oliver neighborhood. With its proximity to major employment areas in both the downtown and the University of Alberta, Oliver is a diverse, compact, high-density, and pedestrian-friendly neighborhood. The proposed rezoning of the site is from Direct Development Control Provision, DC1, and High-Rise Apartment Zone, RA9, to Site-Specific Development Control Provision, DC2. Next slide, please. The project is proposing the redevelopment of a 3-story commercial building on Jasper Avenue and an at-grade parking lot located in behind. The proposed development will allow for the development of 2 mixed-use high-rise buildings ranging in height from 100 meters to 180 meters located on Jasper Avenue and 115th Street. The proposed massing would include a 4-story podium for the north building and an 8-story podium for the building located adjacent to Jasper Avenue. The redevelopment of the site would allow for a pedestrian-oriented, high-density residential and mixed-use commercial development with street-level retail opportunities located on the south building adjacent to Jasper Avenue and 115th Street. Residential uses would be located in the north building and in the podium and tower above the at-grade retail on the south building, contributing to the diversity of housing stock in the downtown. Also proposed is the activation of the east-west lane located between the two buildings with live-work units, hard and soft landscaping, and generous building setbacks. Next slide, please. As can be seen, the site's location provides numerous multimodal transportation opportunities for residents. The site is located on Jasper Avenue, which is designated Transit Ave. It's located in close proximity to the future West Valley Line station on 104th Ave and 116th Street, and the Grandin LRT station, which provides additional transit access. Separated bike lanes are a short ride away on 102nd Ave, and the grid pattern of the street allows for easy pedestrian circulation within Oliver. Next slide, please. The proposed development aligns with city plan. The site is located within Center City and is located along Jasper Avenue, which is the main street for Center City. City plan identifies Center City as Edmonton's distinct cultural, economic, institutional, and mobility hub with the highest density and mix of land uses. It includes a critical mass of housing, employment, and civic activities. Center City has a desired overall density of a minimum of 450 people and/or jobs per hectare, and identifies the typical massing form as high-rise and mid-rise. Next slide, please. Technical studies show that there are no traffic or servicing issues for the project. All vehicular access to on-site parking is underground and will be from the adjacent lanes. Next slide, please. The development will be providing community amenity contributions, which will include $461,000 towards the upgrading of Kitchener Park, as per discussion with the Oliver Community League, a minimum of 22 3-bedroom family-oriented units within the development, upgrading of the public realm in accordance with Imagine Jasper Avenue, design adjacent to Jasper Avenue and adjacent to 115th Street between the lane and Jasper Avenue, upgrading of the east-west lane and north-south lanes to commercial standard. Next slide, please. This project has city administration, EDC, and Oliver Community League support. The buildings reflect design excellence, slim glass towers with floor plates of 800 meters squared, articulated facades, respects and enhance the existing character and pedestrian environment of Jasper Avenue and 115th Street, activation of the east-west lane with live-work units. The design increases the prominence of Jasper Avenue and 115th Street and creates a more comfortable, engaging pedestrian environment through increased sidewalk widths and setbacks to the buildings. Parking will be provided underground in compliance with the requirements of the zoning bylaw. Greenlong has hired Andrew Chang Architects as one of Vancouver's most experienced architectural groups as the architects for this project. Casper Tavakole will be speaking after me and will go into greater detail on the building design. Next slide, please. Thank you for your time today. I'm available for questions.
Well, thank you very much and well timed. We will now move to our next speaker, Casper Tavakole.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to thank everyone for taking the time to hear us. And with that, I'd like to go to the next slide, please. Yes, this slide shows our intention for 360-degree architecture with uses that are engaging at the ground floor. We have retail along Jasper, wrapping up to the 115th. We have live-work units along the lane. We have residential entry, and we have outdoor amenities. So it's all engaging, and kept the utilitarian uses to the big corners where the parking ramps are or the loading bays. Both residential entries are on the 115th Avenue. Next slide, please. This here shows how we've chosen to put more of the density in a taller tower on the south parcel, where we have, we're at the corner of 115, which is the center of Imagine Jasper, and also there's some higher densities as mentioned adjacent. So we think that it anchors the site property and also allows for a better transition to the lower towers that are to the Oliver neighborhood to the north. And you can see in this where the two towers are kind of similar in their crowns and in their top, and also the corners of the towers that kind of tie them together, where they're different from each other in the design of the podiums and volumes, of course. And with that, to go to the next slide, please. This shows the approach from city center, where you can see from east where the podium of the taller tower is stepping back to allow for future redevelopment of our eastern neighbor. There are step backs also from Jasper Avenue on the podium portion to allow a little bit of buffer between the continuous retail that you can see along Jasper. The retail is undulated and broken down with features such as lighting and other architectural features. There's full weatherproofing or weather protection along the sidewalk. So it's the Imagine Jasper going all along the block and then wrapping around to the next to 115. I'd like to go to the next slide, please. This shows our the activated lane, where we propose to widen the lane. There's 3 meter setback on each side with a strip of planting, seating, 2 meter sidewalk on each side. So there are street trees, ornamental lighting, and there are like setbacks for the ganged entries of these 2-story live work units that could also be ground oriented 3-bedroom residential units. You can see also the podium of the taller tower stepping back significantly to allow more light and also to allow for better scale, a pedestrian scale of the activated lane. Go to the next slide, please. This shows our site plan, kind of focuses on the point that we're wrapping the street improvements onto 115th and also into the lane. There's the same kind of features as Imagine Jasper that carried all around. You see we're retaining the landscaping along 115th, the old trees. We're also providing further landscape buffers in front of the ground-oriented residential units. You see even to the north of the North Tower, we've provided landscaping and an outdoor amenity fronting an indoor amenity. So the idea is to engage public realm as much as possible at ground floor. And you can see from the photo or from the rendering where the podium of the North Tower is more of a residential character, 4 stories, repeating the rhythm of those live work units along the lane up above them in terms of apartments.
Just a 1-minute warning, please go ahead.
Next, just shows the main view of the corner with the retail wrapping around and kind of a podium of the tall tower being a sculptural with the angled balconies kind of nodding to the angle of the balconies above and becoming more of a neutral backdrop. The entries to the 2 towers along 115th break the podium with large tall openings. Then we can go to the next slide, please. That shows how we put the entries to the residential towers kind of flanking the activated lane, bringing more attention and pedestrian traffic to the activated lane. You can see also that the top of podiums are landscaped and they're actually outdoor amenities that are never a roof. So it's outdoor, or they're common or private outdoor amenities. And all of the 3-bedroom residential kind of family-oriented units are within these 2 podiums. And with that, I'd like to end my presentation. Next slide, please. And we're ready to take questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. So we have no other speakers besides answering questions. So Councillor Stevenson, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so much to everyone for those really thorough presentations. It's a project I'm really excited by. So happy to see the family units being included in there. So happy for the laneway activation. I think that's actually, to the best of my knowledge, one of the first in Edmonton, and I think it's going to set a really great precedent moving forward. And the Kitchener Park upgrades, that's exceptionally exciting as well. My only question, I apologize that it led to that many presentations, is just around the sunset clause. I am concerned about the 10-year sunset clause, recognizing that this is a really significant project. I know that there is some time that's required, but just wondering if the applicants could maybe speak to your openness or ability to consider a shorter timeframe to get this development underway. So 5 to 7 years, would that be workable from your end?
Hi there. I believe the 10 years was put in here with discussion from city administration. We'd need to speak to the applicant themselves with regards to proposed construction timelines. So I'm not sure if Ken is able to speak to that with regards to construction timelines. I know that they want to move forward as soon as possible if we're successful with rezoning, but again, I'm not sure whether a 5 to 7 year timeline will work. So this wasn't a question that was brought up with administration.
Yeah, and I think that that 10-year has been a standard, but is one that I think I've made a motion on in terms of looking at the rationale for that. And again, it really comes from a place of wanting to see this happen, wanting to avoid, what I think has happened in the past where, significant upzoning has led to land that stays vacant for quite a long time. Not wanting to preclude future, if for whatever reason this project was not able to proceed, just that it doesn't get frozen in time, given the prominence and importance of this site.
Understood. Again, I probably need to ask the applicant themselves whether they are amenable to a reduced timeline for that.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll follow up with a few questions to administration just to see if there are, what the implications would be if we, for example, advanced a 7-year sunset clause today. If it turned out that that wasn't workable, if there's options to come back or reapply for rezoning in that 7-year time period if needed. So I'll follow up with administration, but really appreciate the presentation. I should also thank Mr. Niaz. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today as well. It's we appreciate from hearing from all voices and great to hear your support. So thank you very much. And thanks again to the presenters.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Mr. Nias, do you have anything to say or just a thanks?
Sorry, it was just the thanks.
Okay, great. Councillor Tang.
Thank you, Councillor Paquette. Yeah, I thought this was a really interesting application. I think the only thing that I found a little unusual was how long the engagement period was. And this is the first time this zoning bylaw change request came. Is that right, Ms. Summers?
So it was originally started quite some time ago. It was originally started with a different built form, and it's taken a longer time because the initial feedback that was received well into the process is administration and the community and Oliver Community League asked for us to have another look at how the development was being put forward. So there was a redesign that was undertaken, and then we had like a lot of ongoing discussions with administration, the Oliver Community League, and just general public consultation to get us to the development that you see before you today, which we feel has taken on board all of the various comments that we've received from administration, the Community League, community members, as well as EDC. So it's been a bit of a longer process, but I think it's been a very fruitful process.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a very supportive letter from the Community League, and even in some of the, I think, feedback around the wind, felt like it was also addressed. So anyways, I was curious whether or not there were things along the way that you had to incorporate into some of those redesign work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for everyone who came out to speak and show your support.
All right. Thank you, Councillor Tankaren. So we will now move to, I believe, if there's no other questions for the speakers, questions of administration. And I'm assuming Councillor Stevenson may have one or two. I think she telegraphed that.
Thank you, Councillor Briquette. I've also telegraphed some potential intentions about an amendment on the fly as well. So, so to administration, just wondering if you can recall or provide any context if there was some specificity around the 10-year clause, or if you think that there may be scope to potentially adjust that.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. The 10-year clause is in line with other towers in the area, so it would be a typical timeline that we would be looking to pursue.
Well, my recollection is that we did move down to a 7-year sunset clause on some of the recent rezonings around Warehouse Park.
Councillor, so there's been a variety of sunset clauses and that amount of time in the different towers, both in downtown and Oliver. They range from typically in a tower from 5 to 10 years. There's a couple of 5 years, there's some 7-year ones. And then obviously the 10-year ones. The closest example is the Empton Motors just to the south, which is 10 years. But understanding the idea here is that we have also, through some of the smaller projects, been looking to reduce that sunset clause as well. So there is instances that it is less than 10.
Great. And just for my understanding too, so if we proceeded today, because I would like to avoid a referral back. I think, again, the merits of this project are really clear, and I don't want to create a roadblock to it proceeding today. So if we were to amend, let's say to 5 years, 7 years, the consequence of that would be in let's say 4.5 years time, if there were circumstances that led to this not being able to commence development, there would be an option for the landowner at that time to rezone, to extend that, or to refresh that timeline.
Yeah, they would have to come in for a new rezoning. I would, on the 5 years, this is quite a large project. To get detailed design drawings and engineering drawings, that might be pretty tight by the time they get their financing in line and everything else that comes along with it. So I think from administration stance, 5 years might be a little bit too small or too little. 7 years might be that sweet spot.
Okay, that's great. Well, I think I'd like to proceed on that basis of amending it to 7 years, and I'll be sure to wrap around with the applicant just to make sure that they're comfortable with that. But again, it would allow, it provides the assurance that, again, this land doesn't effectively end up sterilized, that if it can't proceed, that there is a viable potential future alternative in a shorter time frame. Again, I think there is a sense of wanting to see this type of development and not wanting land to sit vacant for a decade. But I'll be sure to follow back with the applicants for new information if they want to advise if they're comfortable proceeding on that basis or prefer a referral back. And that's all. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. Do you have any other questions, Councillor Stevenson? No, that's it. Okay, we'll then move to Councillor Knack.
Thank you, Councillor Briquette. Sorry, I just wanted one last question on that because I generally agree. I can't actually recall the last time we did a 10-year sunset clause. I thought we started changing that, 4 or 5 years ago, most in my second term. The ghost of Councillor McKean is hovering above me, I think, who would often raise that. So is there a time in the last even 3 or 4 years that we've done a 10-year sunset clause?
The latest one would have been the Empton Motors or the parks on 108.
And that was
the latest tower around the Warehouse Park would have been a 5-year sunset clause, but that was ultimately, I guess, removed from public hearing by the applicant at that time. So they have been varied, and as you said, they've been trending downwards.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I think that's been our general direction, and I just couldn't remember the last time we actually did a 10-year one. So I would tend to agree with Councillor Stevenson. Okay, great, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for that. I don't see any other speakers. I will just see if are there any questions of our speakers on new information. Councillor Stevenson, go ahead.
Yes, maybe I'll just put that back to Ms. Summers. Again, I appreciate the timing of this and that you maybe aren't necessarily able to reach out to the owner. Just wondering if it would be your preference today to move forward with amending this to a 7-year clause, a 7-year sunset clause, on the basis that, again, if that creates problems down the road, that there is the option to come back and have that amended, or would you prefer a referral back at this point?
Hi there. I'm just trying to communicate with my client to get an understanding of, yes, so I'm if I'm sorry to hold this up for just a moment. I'm just in
That's
the
okay.
process of
I can proceed to fill the time. Don't feel pressure if you need a few moments. We have four minutes that I can use in any case.
Okay.
We
Just
can
give
also
me
just
one
sit in
more moment
silence.
if you would. Thank you.
I will dedicate my time to a moment of silence and reflection as we wait for the response to that question.
Councillor Stevenson, I've heard that you also have a really great comedy bit you do, if you wanted to regale us, or a song.
So sorry, I've heard back from the client, and
Saved by the bell.
they are amenable to a 7-year. The 5-year, because it is a larger project, it would be difficult to undertake in that amount of time. But if we're able to revise the sunset horizon to a 7-year, then they are willing to make that adjustment.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I believe that we have wording to that effect. And if clerks could maybe advise me the appropriate time to move that amendment, if it's before or after the closing of the public hearing.
It would be before, so you can do it now.
Okay, so I would like to move the motion that clerks has to amend that Charter Bylaw 20111 Schedule B be amended by deleting the first paragraph of Regulation 9.5 and replaced with the following, notwithstanding the other development regulations and appendices of this provision and Section 720.32 of the zoning bylaw. In the event that the developer does not obtain a development permit and commence construction of at least one area of the development within 7 years of the passage of the bylaw adopting this provision, development shall be in accordance with this provision, except that.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor from Councillor Stevenson, seconded by Councillor Knack. Councillor Stevenson, would you like to introduce it?
No, just to say, I would encourage my colleagues to support this. This just enables greater assurance about the pace of development in our community, while also, meeting the needs of the applicant and builder who are bringing this forward to ensure that their project can be feasible, while we're also providing assurance that we do see this investment in quick order in our community.
That sounded suspiciously like an introduction. Are there any,
Sorry, that could be my speaking too. Apologies. I thought that would be.
Well, I will check to see if there are any questions or anyone else would like to speak to this. Not seeing any, then now that does definitely qualify. Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Please vote.
We're waiting on 2 votes. We have all the votes.
Please display the vote. And that is carried unanimously.
Great. Mr. Chair, I would like to move closure of the public hearing on items 311 and 312.
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson, seconded by Councillor Knack. If there is no debate, please vote.
We have all the votes.
Please display the vote, Madam Clerk. And that is carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll move first reading of items 311, 312.
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Thank you, Councillor Knack, for the second. Please vote.
We have all the votes.
Please display the vote. And that is carried unanimously.
Thank you. I'll move second reading of items 311 and 312.
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Thank you, Councillor Knack, for the second. Please vote.
We have all the votes.
Please display the vote. And that is carried unanimously. Thank you.
And thank you. I will move consideration of third reading for items 311 and 312.
Second.
Okay, do we have to read out the bylaws themselves? Are we on consideration only?
Yes, that's
Okay,
right.
yeah, sorry.
Consideration.
Please vote.
Councillor Wright, we're just waiting on your vote.
Sorry, I'm a yes.
Thank you. We have all the votes.
Please display the vote. And that is carried. And apologies, Councillor Stevenson. I'm a little too eager.
No, that's just fine. I will move third and final reading of bylaw 20110 and charter bylaw 20111.
Second.
And that is second by Councillor Knack. Please vote.
We have all the votes.
Please display the vote. And that is carried. Okay, and that takes us to a near conclusion. Thank you to everyone who came out to speak today. I will now see if there are any notices of motion or motions without customary notice. Councillor Hamilton.
I'm just pulling it up.
It's coming through now, Con.
Just, sorry, give me a second. Actually, if Councillor Cartmel has his going, then I'll.
Okay, I haven't seen anyone else click on, but Councillor Cartmel, you have something for us?
I do. I'm just pulling it up. Councillor Paquette, just give me a moment.
Suddenly we're going too fast for us all. There.
If you could also share with the clerk's office or in the chat.
I have shared with the clerk's office at the June 20th, but I'll throw it in the chat. At the June 20th, 2022 City Council meeting, I will move the following. The pandemic has taken a toll on frontline emergency workers. Our own police service, EPS, has experienced a significant impact with persons experiencing short-term disability. I move that administration work with Edmonton Police Commission to offer support and assist with finding solutions in returning to work due to the impact of the pandemic.
Second.
That's just notice. All good.
This is the notice of motion.
I've done that before. Sorry. I was eager.
I mean, realistically, we have time to bring it forward as a motion without official notice, but we can wait on it. All right. Thank you, Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Cartmel.
Thank you, Councillor Paquette. At the June 20th, 2022 City Council meeting, I will move that $5 million be provided to the Edmonton Police Commission to support a Healthy Streets Operations Center in Chinatown to act as a multi-agency collaboration facility with funding from the the Financial Stability Reserve.
Okay, that should be a quick discussion. Okay, so I believe that's everything. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned. Unless there was one more. I see Councillor Hamilton.
I just know that there were some notices, but not everyone has to give notice when they.
I haven't seen anyone else click on.
All right.
I will be patient and wait.
All right. No, it's. Yeah, there's another chance Friday. All good. Sorry,
That's okay.
Council.
We understand that you're having so much fun. You don't want this to end. And yet all good things must. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.